wants what she wants, and I like it, girl. Keep on, and he gon' have to wife it, girl. It's your world, yeah.
What's going on, y'all? It's your girl Bree Style here. I'm back with another episode of In the Booth with Bree Style. This is episode 7. We're gonna call this one album mode, man, because my debut album, RnBre, has been out for about a month now, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support, man. It's been such a beautiful journey, a short one thus far, but man, y'all know where I plan on taking it. So once again, thank you so much for the support thus far and the support that's to come, man. I'm super excited about my musical journey, and just the growth that I've experienced over the past year as a young woman, as a human being, man. It's been a beautiful thing to create, to literally take ideas from my brain and put them out into the world in the form of music. You know what I mean? If you know me or if you don't, I've always been a creator. Whether it's been radio or my nonprofit free game program or writing in different capacities, creating content, what have you. I've always been a creator, and I'll definitely say this journey of making music has felt the most natural. It's definitely felt the most natural. So in this episode, I want to kind of just delve into what it's like to put an album out. I don't know if any of you have ever made music, if you're listening to this, if you're an artist, a producer, what have you, an A&R, or if you're just a consumer, or if you're just curious about the music industry. I want to give you kind of a peek behind the curtain as far as what it took for me to put out my debut album and what it's been like since, and what I think it's going to take for me to reach the level that I want to make. So once again, this is episode 7, album mode. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got all kinds of dope content coming. And if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, stay tuned, because next month, August 2024, I'm doing a video shoot. I'm doing a pool party for It Girl, my summer single. It's going to be super dope. I want you and yours to pull up. We're going to have a good time. All right. So without further ado, man, R&Bre, my debut album. It's so funny because before I started making music, you always hear people say that you have your entire life to make your debut album. And I didn't really know what that meant until I started putting mine together. And my kind of take on that is you have a lifetime of experiences that you can pull from, a lifetime of relationships, a lifetime of just uh wisdom, knowledge that you can kind of pull from and make it all mesh into one listener experience for people who know you, for people who don't know you, for people that you want to get to know you better. And so with mine, man, it was just a culmination of me kind of reaching peak confidence as a person. I'll say the last 2 or 3 years, I've definitely reached peak confidence. And I think that comes from knowing who I am as a person, first and foremost. Um, but then it also came from me kind of nailing down which skills that I'm super, super talented at, and which skills I prefer to cultivate and nurture. Um, One of those being writing. I've known that I was a amazing writer my entire life. I remember in first grade, I wrote a poem, and my teacher like freaked out about it. Like she made a big deal about it. She told me how great of a writer I was. Like she had me like recite it on the morning announcements and stuff like that. So I was really, told and propped up as a writer early on in my life, and from there it just kind of continued. I wrote a couple rhymes here and there when I was a kid, just because as a black person, I feel like that's one of the first things you try to do when you figure out you're a good writer is to rap. But I never took it seriously because I always, basketball was my thing. But writing was one of those skills that I knew that I could kind of cultivate and get better at, and that I wanted to get better at. And then two, like I said, with reaching that peak confidence, charisma was something that I realized that is a gift of mine, the gift of gab, some people call it. But being able to connect with people, not only the people that I know well and that know me well, but being able to connect with complete strangers. I would notice that I would go out places, and I might be at the Apple store and I just get into an hour-long conversation with a complete stranger, and we end up connecting from there and building, a beautiful relationship. You know what I mean? So with that experience, happening over and over again, it's like, okay, well, this means something. What does it mean? And so kind of combining those two, that writing and that charisma, and then like I said, that peak confidence coming over the past couple years, it just kind of made sense, to put it all together, and it the equation equaled out to a rap career, as far as I could tell. And I prayed on it, and that's how the process started, as far as, making songs, and then, eventually putting those songs together and making a full project. So, um, the first song that I actually recorded for the album was Hear Me. Hear Me was first. And it came pretty naturally. My uncle Joey is an engineer. Shout out to Joey. He mixed and mastered my whole album. Um, but he sent me that beat. He sent me a couple beats early on, and that was one of my favorites that he sent me. And the writing process for it really came naturally. I kind of did the same kind of flow on both verses, and that was kind of cool to see, me kind of express myself as a writer, but also get into my flow bag, which is, I think, one of my strengths on the album. Um, and then right after that, Love Song came, and when I wrote Love Song, I knew for sure you're a rapper. And it felt really really good because I feel like, and this may be a little, I don't know if it's arrogance, but it, like I said, it's just peak confidence in myself. When I wrote that record, I knew, like, hey, there are people out there, artists out there, who are trying really hard to make something like this. And it came so easily for me. You know what I'm saying? I wrote it right here in this bedroom. And when I found the beat online, it was just like magic. It was like making magic, literally. That's the best way that I could describe it. Um, and so from there, after those two came out, I kind of wanted R&Bre to be a quick EP, maybe like two or three songs. So it was gonna be Love Song, it was gonna be Hear Me, and at this point, which is, maybe August 2023, a little bit before this, maybe June 2023, I kind of had those two songs. I don't even know if I had the title R&Bre yet, which is a fire title, if I may say so myself, man. R&Bre is so hard, because it encapsulates everything I am. I feel like for a debut album, that's what you wanted to do. So shout out to everybody who's listened. Shameless plug, real quick. R&Bre is out everywhere now on your favorite streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube Music, you name it. Wherever you get your music, Audio Mac, you can find R&Bre right now. Pull it up, stream it, and let me know what your favorite song is, man, because I put a lot of time and energy into that project, and I'm super duper proud of it, if you can't tell. Um, so yeah, man, back to the album creation process. So like I said, I wanted it to be a quick hitter at first, just to kind of introduce myself, to the world. So, Hear Me came first, and then it was Love Song. And then I want to say it was maybe the intro. I want to say I found the beat for Good Girl Gone Bad, and I split it up into two. So you have the intro, which is Leave Me, and then you have, it goes right into Good Girl Gone Bad. And when I heard that beat, I was like, oh, this is the intro. It sounds like superhero music. That beat drop is stupid. And I just knew that this is how, when people press play on my project, this is what I want them to hear. So I was super proud of that one. And so, after Good Girl Gone Bad, I want to say Where You At came. Where You At came, and that one, that was just another vibey beat that I was like, oh man, this just sounds like me. It sounds like something that I would throw on when I put in the car. um and I could just be super proud of it, you know what I'm saying? I'm writing, I'm flowing, it's a little bit of storytelling at the end of the second verse, which I'm super proud of. And so at this point, like I said, I've got about four songs, three, four. Good Girl Gone Bad, Hear Me, Love Song, and Where You At. And that was gonna be it. That was gonna be the EP. And so, I also had Open Mind. Open Mind, shout out to Cascade. He did that beat for me. And that wasn't necessarily my favorite song. I love the beat. Now I love the beat. Shout out once again to Cascade. I hit him up with the sample in mind, and he flipped that, he cooked it, and it's perfect. I love that beat so much. And the only reason I say it wasn't one of my favorites is because I couldn't do everything that I wanted to do vocally as an artist yet. And that's just going to take time. But I'm proud of the subject matter. I'm proud of what I did with the beat all the way down to the different pockets I'm getting in with the Tribe Called Quest, Relax Your Mind Love, Just Settle Down. That was hard, you know what I'm saying? That came in as soon as I was finishing the song. Like, I had done all my verses, ad libs and everything like that. And I was like, man, this track needs some bounce to it. You know what I'm saying? So my ear was again showing itself off. And allowed me to put that extra layer to it. And I was really, really proud of how that song turned out. So those 5 songs, I had a listening session in August of 2023 with those 5 songs, and that was gonna be RnBre, and I was pretty dead set on it. Um, and so from there, the process kind of switched from the music to the packaging of it, the rollout, so to speak. So I had the name for the album. And then I had a couple meetings with a couple trusted people. Shout out to my guy Adonis Thrax, who really kind of just put me in album mode. Once again, as far as what a rollout might look like. So if you look at my social media pages and things like that, you'll see certain themes, certain colors that continue to pop up over and over again. Um, and it was my first rollout, which is still in the process. So you'll see more of those themes coming to fruition: roses, romance, just like fun, fly, and flirty is the words that I use to describe the album. And so just kind of nailing down things that could help me relay that message throughout the rollout was really important to me, and that took longer than anything else really. I'll say the music creation happened like that. Like it was so natural and so easy. Um but the rollout was definitely more difficult and more time consuming than I wanted it to be. Probably because I'm a perfectionist, and at some point I realized it's never gonna be perfect. And you just have to put it out, and you can, I saw Russ, who I don't necessarily listen to, but he's very, very smart, and he was saying, put the music out, and you can promote it forever. And so once I saw that, I kind of, switched my gears to, hey, just get it out, and you can figure everything else out after that. And so, at this point, it's early 2024, January. I dropped "Hear Me," which is the second single. "Love Song" came out first, in June of 2023. Then I did "Hear Me" in January, and I had dropped 2 songs before then, "What Huh" and "Flex," just to kind of keep the momentum going. So we're early 2024 with it, and I'm still trying to nail down some of the business things, copyrights, bios, pressers, interviews, those types of things, all the stuff around the music. Which again was not my favorite part at all. Through this process I definitely saw why artists sign to labels. Um Maybe not so much in 2024, but you know, what your general idea of a label is, they take care of a lot of those things around the music, which allows the artist in turn to focus specifically on the music and put your entire, mindset and energy onto the music, which will ultimately give you the best results, I feel like. I'm obviously not signed, so I don't have the liberties to do those things, so a lot of it was on me. Um, and what I could handle, what I could afford, my resources, my network, and so for this to be my first album, I was super duper proud of those things. So once again, it's 2024. I'm still working on some of those things. Um, and actually before that, in late 2023, that's when It Girl and You Alone happened. And boy, was I proud of those records, man. So proud of those records. Two of my favorites on RnBre, specifically It Girl. Just because one, I feel like I could hear myself getting better as a writer. In just the 6 months between Love Song and It Girl, I feel like I got exponentially better as a writer. Um, and two, it was my first time writing with someone else in mind. I do plan on learning how to sing much better than I can now, but that was my first time writing hooks and bridges with a singer in mind. Shout out to Mari Graham. He came through the studio. We knocked both of those songs out in one session, It Girl and You Alone. And it was just so much fun, man, just to be able to work with him. That was my first time ever being in the studio with another artist, so that was cool. Um, but being able to uh give him my ideas, I think that was super super dope. Being able to, I really had to sing to him to really take music that was in my mind and give it to somebody else. That was my first time doing that, and that was a beautiful process. Once again, my first time writing bridges. um and like, just because I hear it in my head, is the artist going to be able to execute it how I want, and he did perfectly, so that was really really cool. Um and so yeah, man, I was just super duper proud of those, and those came about in December of 2023, which is so funny because they, It Girl's definitely a very much so summer record. So to think that I made it in the winter, is kind of funny. But I knew it was once again one of those beats where as soon as I heard it, the song kind of wrote itself. Like it was just like, oh my gosh, this is the quintessential Bree style record. It's fun, it's fly, it's flirty, it's upbeat. I love a more upbeat record, as you can tell throughout the album. Um and yeah, man, so I was just super happy with the way those came out. And then once those two were finished, I pretty much knew um that okay, the music is done and we can continue to focus on everything around it. So from there it was photo shoot time. Shout out to my boys Lonnie and Devin who helped me execute the creative direction. This is the album cover behind me. Um and I had just got the inspiration from a Pinterest photo. It was a young lady and she had like a phone on it and she had some other items kind of coming across, kind of like how I do. And so I just wanted to incorporate some of those themes that I was talking about as far as my rollout. So romance, I got some roses on there, I got some vinyl, some sheet music, and some love letters. And I felt like those were all the things that could help me incorporate the fun, the fly, and the flirty into a piece of artwork. And I'm super duper proud of that album cover, man. It's so cute. And I'm just proud of how I look, how it all came together. Um, and once again, all that creative direction is by me. Everything written on the album is by me. Every word, every note written by me. Everything you see is by me. Shout out to Lonnie for executing this cover, which once again I'm super proud of. But yeah, um, and so after I had those things, it was about time to plan album release. And I talked to my boy JB. Shout out to another super dope individual who's helped me bring these ideas to life. And he was saying, because I wanted to have the album out before my birthday, put it out. And I felt like that would give me a full year because my birthday's June 4th, obviously, and I had put Love Song out June 7th, the year prior. And so I was like, okay, if I can have the album out by then, that'll give me a full year. I can see my exact growth and I can really nail down what I've done in a year. And so I did that, not quite on June 4th, but June 12th, as you can see. And but what I did do is my album release party on my birthday, which was super, super, super dope, man. Shout out to everybody that pulled up on me. Definitely one of the best birthdays I've ever had in my life, which is a big deal for me because I'm not a birthday girl at all. Like, it's funny saying this now as a rapper, I really don't care to have the spotlight on me per se at all times, but to have it built around my project and a creation of mine was really really special to me. And then to add on to the fact that it was my birthday, it was just the icing on the cake, literally. So once again, shout out to everybody that pulled up. I'll never forget that moment. You guys made that really really special for me and I'm thankful for it. Um so yeah, that happened on my birthday, and then a week after that the album came out June 12th, and man, the response was incredible. It was incredible. I didn't really have in mind any number goals because like I said, it's my first time. So I wanted this to be kind of like a baseline level uh for me to set my expectations on what I hope to gain from everything from here on out. And man, am I just proud of how one I've moved creatively in such a short amount of time. I think my evolution into an artist, just from a consumer and a regular human being to an artist, it happened really fast, but also really naturally. I feel like, working in radio before this, I've watched several artists take a long time just to be able to do some of the things that I did as far as album direction and the number of shows that I did in that first year. From June 7th, 2023 to June 7th, 2024, I probably did 20 shows. And I feel like I could see that growth, and other people told me they could see the growth in my performances. Um, and that was huge for me because that wasn't something that I really spent a lot of time thinking about. You know what I'm saying? When you become a rapper, you literally just think about making music. And I didn't really give myself a lot of time to think about what it would take to be a good performer. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I probably would have procrastinated much longer, because performing is a scary thing. Anytime you get on stage, or anytime you're putting, your thoughts and your intimate feelings out into the world, is terrifying. But doing it in front of a group of people is actually insane. And I feel that every time I hop on a stage. But man, is it such an exhilarating feeling. And just to be able to understand what a lot of my favorite artists are going through when they, when the lights come on and they say your name, freestyle coming to the stage, like I get that now. Like, I always go back to Beyonce and how she describes her Sasha Fierce, um, kind of alter ego. It's like as soon as they say your name and they cut that mic on, something a switch definitely goes off, or it should, and it does for me, and that's how I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because if there's nothing that feels like that, like I've never felt a feeling so exhilarating in my life, and so yeah, man, that was kind of the creation and the process behind RnBre. I hope that you have more insight now into what I'm trying to accomplish as an artist. I definitely see myself on the highest stages um ever. I see myself as one of the greats, and I don't think you can start rapping if you don't feel that way. So hopefully that doesn't come off as arrogant. It's just matter of fact, like that's the way it has to be to do what I'm doing. So once again, I want to say thank you guys so much for the love and support, um and just the consistency that you guys have offered me. The kind words, they don't go unnoticed, man. Everything that you've said to me and during this process, it matters, and I'll never forget it. And yeah, continue to stream the album, man. Once again, subscribe to this page. I'm gonna be doing much more content surrounding the album. I think I'm gonna do an episode for each song and kind of just tell you exactly what I was thinking when I was going through those things and when I wrote them, and kind of where some of that inspiration comes from. So once again, stream the album anywhere you get your music. RnBre is out now. I'm super thankful for the support. Once again, this has been episode 7 of In the Booth with Bree Style, album mode. Until next time, I'm out.